Hey, Mike.
Hey, Sandy. How's my fiancé today?
Well, I'm good. Actually, Jen and I had a bit of a fight this morning. You know how sisters are. We have our ups and downs living together, but this was a big fight for us.
Oh, no. What was it about?
It was just stupid, really. She leaves early for work and leaves all her dirty dishes from breakfast on the counter. She does it every day, so I just confronted her about it and she flipped out. She said she's sick of living with me, saying all this mean stuff like I'm controlling, I'm a clean freak. Is it a crime to ask someone to clean up after themselves? She honestly acts like she's still a teenager. It's really grinding my gears. I work from home, but I feel like I'm a housewife.
God, that sounds pretty bad, but you guys always have your rows and then you're best friends again a few days later.
I don't know, Mike. Something just doesn't feel right about this one.
Well, if you really are reaching the end of your wits living with her, you can always move in with me.
Well, that's so kind of you, Mike, but it will sort itself out.
Well, I hope it does too, but maybe us moving in together wouldn't be such a bad idea. I mean, we are due to be married. You're my fiancé after all.
Sure, but it's been a whirlwind relationship for us, Mike. We've only been together for 6 months. And yes, I am aware that we are going to get married, and I love you very much, but moving in together is a big step, and I've had a pretty awful experience living with an ex previously.
I know, you bring him up every time I float the idea of moving in together, and I'm not trying to invalidate your feelings at all, but I'm not him. And you've committed to spending the rest of your life with me. Well, at least I hope you do. So we are going to move in together eventually, and we don't have to move into a small place. I don't like to brag, but I'm on a very good wage these days. We could even afford to buy a house. You don't have to move into my one-bedroom apartment with me. Heck, I'll sell up and we can find a new house to buy together.
That sounds nice, Mike, and I do want to live with you eventually, but not yet. I was even thinking that we don't get married straight away, that we hold off on that until I find a new job.
Well, I was going to talk to you about that too. See, Sandy, I don't think you need to get a new job.
What do you mean? I'm on a temporary contract. My contract is up next year, so I will need to find a new job after that.
What if you didn't?
Huh?
I mean, what if I was the sole earner?
But what would I do?
You could do whatever you wanted to do. You could write that book you've always wanted to write. You could start your own online publication. The sky's the limit. I'll take care of everything else.
But I like working, Mike, and I don't want to give up my professional aspirations just to literally become a housewife. I just said how much I hate washing up my sister's dirty dishes. I don't want to spend the rest of my life washing up yours.
I'm not saying you have to become a housewife, Sandy. I'm just putting it out there. I thought you'd like that suggestion. You're always saying how much you miss having the time to write. I mean, write your own stuff, not just words for a client. I didn't mean to cause any offense.
No, I know, but everything is happening so quickly with us. I feel like I'm in a high-speed racing car of a relationship, and I can't find the brake.
So, you want to slow things down?
I'm not saying I don't want to be with you, Mike. All I'm saying is I want to slow things down, so we can have time to breathe, so I don't feel so overwhelmed all the time.
I didn't think we were moving quickly. I mean, I just thought we were in love.
We are in love, but we don't need to move in together straight away to prove that we're in love. And as far as a wedding is concerned, it takes a lot of planning, and I just want us both to be on the same page.
I understand, but I do think that your anxiety is getting the better of you a bit here. You had a bad experience with your ex, I get that, but I'm not him. And you don't have to worry about us in the long term. I just want to make you happy. And I don't want to be feeling like we're treading water at all.
We're not. I'm just being cautious and realistic. We will get married, Mike, and we will move in together eventually. I promise.
Okay, Sandy. I'll see you soon. I love you.
See you soon, Mike. Hey, Jen.
Yeah?
What's wrong with you?
What do you mean?
You didn't come home last night. I've been worried sick about you. I damn near called the cops. I thought you'd been abducted or something.
You're not my mom, Sandy. I can do what I want.
What did you do then?
I met my boyfriend.
You have a boyfriend? This is the first time I've heard about a boyfriend.
Well, you would know by now if you'd been paying attention. I feel like we've been heading towards a falling out for some time now. You're drifting farther and farther away from me every day. I know you're engaged now and everything, but we used to do everything together. Living with you was the dream. And now you just don't have the patience with me anymore.
I'm sorry you feel like that.
That's not what I want you to say, Sandy.
What do you want me to say?
That you're sorry that I'm feeling like that, aren't you, too? Don't you think you're invalidating my feelings by saying that? Like they're not real? Like they're all in my head?
I'm sorry, Jen, but I feel like I've been making an effort with you and you've been acting out. Is it because I'm engaged now and you're not?
No, I'm not jealous of your engagement. I just feel like things have changed between us. I'm happy you're engaged, Sandy. After your breakup, you were a mess. You only moved in with me because you broke up with Nick. But you were actually nicer to me when you were heartbroken. Now you're so full of yourself.
All this because I asked you to wash up after yourself before you go to work? It's just a common courtesy, Jen. I'm not asking for the world.
But it's not about a pile of dirty dishes, is it, Sandy? I've always been messy. You never used to mind. Now it's the end of the world.
I only want to get back to how things were between us. I don't want to fight with you, Jen.
I do too. I just think that maybe one or both of us needs a change.
What do you mean?
I think I'm going to move out, Sandy.
What? Oh, come on, Jen, don't say that.
Hey, here's an idea. Why don't you move in with Mike? You know, your fiancé?
I don't want to move in with Mike.
Why?
I just don't, okay? I've got too much trauma about living with Nick.
Sandy, you're going to marry Mike. You're going to have to live with him eventually. Or will you be like one of those weird, super rich couples who like having separate houses?
If I'm being totally honest with you, I'm not even sure I want to marry Mike.
Sandy, you're being ridiculous. Of course you want to marry Mike. Anyone would kill to have a husband like Mike. Rich, attractive. Did I mention rich?
Yes, I know he's rich. But he wants me to become this domesticated housewife. He was talking earlier about me quitting my career, staying at home, like some pet of his. I just think things are moving too quickly. I just want everything to slow down. I'm freaking out here.
Well, you're not gonna like what I'm going to tell you next, then.
What?
Well, I bumped into Mike earlier today. Actually, I didn't just meet him by coincidence. He invited me to breakfast.
Mike isn't your boyfriend, is he?
No! Pay attention!
Okay, sorry.
Mike invited me for breakfast because he had a proposition for me.
What was that?
He said he felt like you were stalling on your engagement with him and that you needed a change, that he felt like the time was right for you two to move in together. But you didn't like the idea, like you were scared or something.
What did you say?
I agree with him. You are scared, Sandy. You've always been scared of change. That's why you stayed with Dan for so long. Even though your relationship was deteriorating, and I don't want the same thing to happen to you and me, so I said I would move out so that Mike could move in.
What?
And then he proposed that I move into his apartment instead, take over the lease from him.
You can't be serious, Jen.
I am. I think it's a good idea.
But you would never do something without my backing. You're my sister.
Yeah, except I have.
What do you mean?
I've agreed to take over Mike's apartment. I've already signed the documents.
But that's so quick. Why would Mike and you go behind my back like that?
Because you would have never let this happen otherwise. Even though it's for the best, Sandy.
How do you get to decide what's best for me?
Because I'm your sister and I've always had your back through thick and thin, and that's never going to change, Sandy.
I can't believe this. I need to talk to Mike.
It's happening, Sandy. You need to get with the program.
You need to respect boundaries, Jen.
You'll come around. See you later, Sandy.
Mike!
Sandy, what is it? You've called me like 100 times. I'm in the office.
You have a lot of explaining to do.
What?
Don't act dumb with me, Mike. You met up with my sister earlier today.
Yeah? She told you already?
What do you mean already?
Well, I didn't want you to know until I'd finalized all the documents.
What documents, Mike? What are you talking about?
Sandy, our relationship is stalling, and I believe it's because you are afraid of what will happen next. Your last relationship didn't end well, and it left you emotionally damaged. I need you to know that that won't happen with us, but the longer we tread water, the more likely it will. It's ironic, really. You are afraid of change because you are afraid that something bad will happen in the future. But it is more likely something bad will happen if nothing changes. Do you catch my drift?
Yeah.
So I needed to be proactive. I needed to help you take the next step. So I put down a deposit on a new house in the suburbs for us. It's a beautiful place with land, a pool. It's incredible. I want to take you there on the weekend.
You bought a house?
Yes, For us. For us to move into together.
I can't believe you would do something like that.
I know, it's a romantic gesture.
No, Mike, it isn't. Do you even know me? Have you been listening to a word I've been saying over the past few weeks?
Yes, that's why I bought the house, to help you, to help us.
Mike, I've been talking about postponing the wedding. I've been telling you to wait a while before we move in together. I'm still damaged from my last relationship, but I need to heal on my own terms. You can't force a Band-Aid on me and expect it to be a miracle cure for all the wounds I have.
I don't expect it to cure everything, Sandy, but our relationship can cure those wounds, if you let it. But you're not. You're being so resistant to change.
I want change on my terms, Mike.
It's not all about you, Sandy. Jeez, I just bought you a house and you're throwing all your toys out of the pram.
Nice. That's very kind of you, Mike.
Isn't it? Isn't it a kind gesture?
You can't just throw money at something and expect it to change. That's not the man I fell in love with. Mike, I would live in a trailer with you. I honestly would, but I need to be emotionally ready before we live together.
You are.
You can't tell someone how they are supposed to feel. I think you need to tell your lawyers that you're not signing for the house. And you also need to tell my sister that she's not moving into your apartment. Just stop all of this madness.
It's happening, Sandy. I'm buying that house whether you move into it with me or not. Life doesn't just stand still. It happens. I'm not waiting around for you to live it with me.
Well, if you can't wait for me, Mike, then I guess you never really loved me anyway.
What are you talking about? I love you, Sandy. Jen loves you. People love you and want to do things for you. Stop pushing everyone away.
You want me to be some domesticated housewife.
No, I don't. I want you to be happy. I want you to live your dreams. If you want to pursue a career in whatever you want to pursue a career in, I'll support you. I've only ever supported you, Sandy. And you've always pushed me away. Well, if that's what you want, to keep me at arm's length, then so be it. I'll back off. But I can't guarantee I'll still be here for you when you decide you're ready to commit to a real relationship. I'm not slowing down my life anymore.
I don't know what to do, Mike. I'm so afraid. I'm so afraid of the future.
The future is scary. I know it is. But I'm here to help you through it. To help you make sense of it. To hold your hand. Just let me hold your hand, Sandy. Please.
Oh, Mike, I'm sorry. I've been so cruel.
And I'm sorry, too. I should have included you, but I couldn't see any other way.
Okay, I'm not saying I'll move in, but I will come and see the house with you over the weekend.
Amazing. Baby steps. I like it. I'm proud of you, Sandy.
I really do love you, Mike. I mean it.
I know you do. I love you too, Sandy.
Even though I still resented Mike for going behind my back, I eventually came around to his way of thinking. I loved the house and endorsed his purchase of it. 2 months later, and I had moved out of my shared apartment and into a new home. Mike and I married a year later, and I've never been happier. I'm still afraid of change, but I'm glad I have Mike and my sister at my side to help me.